at the InfoAg Conference. I'm visiting with Aaron Hutchinson with iCropTrak. And Aaron, let's start out because we've had a chance to visit on more than one occasion, but what is it that you're showcasing for attendees at this year's conference?
Well, we're really showing three predominant things here. One of them is we have a new technology we call DIRT, and it's a way of thinking about Excel and reporting kind of on the iPad. Another one is that reporting technology. We now have a pixel perfect technology that's based on a plug-in to Microsoft Word. So if it's a form, we can duplicate it. It could be a government form, it could be your own proprietary type thing you're up to. And we're also talking about our new PC. So we've actually taken the technology that we have on the iPad and we made it so it runs on the PC as well.
I guess we have to do that for some people, huh? But no, seriously, that really is a big move ahead because there are so many people for whom that is the platform they need.
Well, I think the PC is really about multi-monitors, and for a lot of our clients, they're agronomy type people, and they fall in those categories. And the PC allows them to have multiple monitors, allows them to use keyboards to do things that are a little more arduous or repetitive that would be on an iPad. And the iPad's when you're out and about, and the desktop's when you're back in the office or you're watching a lot of people work.
So now with this Microsoft platform that you've got, kind of describe some of the early feedback from some of your early adopters.
So it's actually pretty cool. One of our first ones was we had to fill out a U.S. Army Corps of Engineer documentation that was called a wetland delineation form, and you're starting to get those if you're on the West Coast, and you'll start seeing them across the U.S. where you have to designate your fields relative to things that are around them. And the guy who got the form on the government side said, wow, you guys were able to type into our form perfectly. The reality was we were able to duplicate his form perfectly. And he was actually not aware that we'd actually duplicated it all the way down to that level.
Well, let's go back for a minute because they've been talking here in this 20th year of this conference about some history of where we kind of started and where we are today. How about just from the iCropTrak standpoint, when you got started with this to where you are today?
So that's pretty easy. So this is our second company. Our first company was a military GIS, and we sold that out in 2005. We did an earn out to 2008, and we started our new company in 2009. And a lot of people ask why would we go from military to this one. There's a couple of good reasons. One is there's these words called drone. We were doing them for 10 years in the military side, and we saw them coming here. You know, the GPS technology was on that side, it came over here. There's a lot more coming that direction, especially with us downsizing the military. We're gonna see a lot more military companies here. The other side is 2 of the 3 founders actually come from farming families. And it was nice to be able to take what where we started, what we learned through our life, and bring it back and start applying it back, back where we kind of started again. And as we've kind of progressed, we started out with our first product was Precision Earth. And a lot of people use that, and another one of our products called GIS Roam for collecting boundaries. And what we learned from that lesson was we needed to add more capability, more farm management type things. And so iCropTrak was kind of born out of that. And from that point, we were about 4 employees, and now we're 15, adding 4 more this year. So we're growing at a pretty good rate, and we're pretty excited.
We started this conference with a futurist speaking to us. He had some interesting ideas, I guess, for the future. But how about you? What's your vision of the future for what you're doing with iCropTrak?
Well, in a lot of ways, we think it's going to follow kind of what happened in the military. We think about computers in general. We started off with mainframes where everybody logged into one company logged into one place. And then we had minis, and then you logged into your local place, and then we had PCs, and then we logged into those. And it was always about the cost and the performance of the platform that you had available to you. And now when we look at phones and tablets, it's the same way. We went back to the cloud because they were not powerful enough to do the job. But the latest generations are powerful enough that we're doing exactly the same things people are doing on their desktops. We're taking tractor data, we're zoning it, we're using multiple years of it. We're able to make prescriptions on it. So we're doing the exact same things, but we're doing them in a way that we can do them disconnected. So the internet doesn't have to be there. And so as the signal goes up and down, we're still getting that same experience no matter where we are. And that's a big deal, not so much here in the US, but it is abroad, because when you think about Brazil and Africa and parts of Russia, the internet is non-existent. cellular networks and all of that out on the farms. And so we're trying to feed the whole world, not just the North American world, right?
Yeah, we get here in the U.S. especially, we get so used to being online that we don't think about working offline that much.
Exactly.
And you have that capability, and that's added convenience, even if you're here, you know?
Exactly. The other part is, I think it's a differentiator in a way that's kind of unique, and that is the algorithms. You know, when you're implementing them in the cloud, everybody's got to have the kind of same consistent view of the algorithms, because so many people are sharing the resource. Since the computation is local, you're implementing your own algorithms, only you can see them. The results are coming only back to you, and the only thing you're saving in the cloud is the result. So nobody knows how you got to them. So what you're doing and how you're innovating can really be data secure in what we're up to at this point.
Just occurred to me, can you talk about how once a company decides they want to go with your product, how do you handle the training part of that and support?
Oh, that's a good question. So, you know, what we did was, we're a virtual company. A lot of our employees live all over the United States, and we actually do our training virtually as well. There is a live person, and what we do is we're able to sling our iPads and our desktops and all of that onto the web, and for 2 hours a day, so we don't want to take up your whole day because you got other things you got to do. We work with you to help you, teach you how to use the software, how to set up your system, and get you going. We have templates, so row crop templates and vineyard templates and other types of templates, so that you don't have to start with something scratch. You can actually build from something that already kind of exists that we've used with others, and you can build your own flavor of what you're up to, which I think is important, because if you're doing trials or you're doing something, maybe a GMO vegan farming of some sort, you're going to have a different kind of collection requirement than your next door neighbor, and you can set that up inside of our tool.
Well, and I got to ask, because this is even important on an Apple Watch, I mean, can I change the text colors and the backgrounds and stuff?
So the icons, what the labels are, a lot of that stuff is completely under your control. And you know, one of the things we got here at the show is you start to learn that the farming market is a little bit older, right? About 62 to 65, depending on which state you live in. And one of the things we've had people say is, even though we got 18 font on here, they were asking if I could turn it up to 24 font. Because even with their glasses, you know, they were having a little bit of a hard time. So yeah, there are definitely things we allow you to do. You know, what are the icons? What is it called? Is your company logo or farm logo on here? That's completely all customizable by you without any programming.
Fantastic. Well, anything else that you'd like to touch on while we're still at InfoAg Conference?
You know, I think we're pretty good.
Okay, well, great. So Aaron Hutchinson here at the iCropTrak booth at the 20th InfoAg Conference taking place in St. Louis. I'm Chuck Zimmerman reporting.